What we called the Mad Virus appeared out of nowhere. It made people turn extremely violent, aggressive, and unrestrainable. Soon later, the infected became bloodthirsty, more like vampires than human. There was chaos, panic, and war for survival. Desperate people were just as dangerous as the virus itself. Even our loved ones could become a threat. The infection spread quickly throughout the entire globe. Every region, every country, every city. Drastic measures were taken to get rid of the infected, but they all failed. The last chance for those who seemed immune was to hide in underground shelters, ones that we improvised in garages and basements, loaded with food, water, and air filtration systems. These were the places where we survived, sealed from the outside. For so long, we waited for any signal, any info that a cure had been found, or the situation stabilized. Instead, we listened as the world grew quiet. Our resources were becoming depleted. Life support systems were failing. And just as we were losing all hope, we received a distant call.
To all survivors, the infection is in decline. Seek others and rebuild.
This was the impulse we needed. There were others out there. We could come back to the surface. No more hiding. From the ruins of the old world, we will build our new home.
You may remember 2 years ago that I reviewed a game called 112 Operator, where you kind of control a police force. It was a pretty decent game. It was in early access at the time. I think it's released now, actually. I haven't checked, but I think it's actually released now. But anyway, one of the DLCs for that game was a zombie apocalypse beginning. And that kind of game latches on to this game, Infection Free Zone, which is made by the same developers. And it's essentially the next part. You were controlling a group of survivors who were hiding kind of underground in storm shelters. But it's time to come out and to survive and take back the world. And what you have to do is you have to set up your HQ in a building. You've got two-way radios with all your squads. You create squads by having 4 unemployed people. Preferably you need some weapons. If you don't have any guns, you'll default to machetes, which are not really going to cut it in this world. It's a savage, brutal world full of zombies, and these zombies are quite quick as well, and they are lethal, absolutely lethal. And what you've got to do, you've got to scavenge. It's a bit like Project Zomboid in the sense that you have this big map and you can go inside of the houses, although you don't go and check every cupboard like you do in Project Zomboid. But some houses will be labelled as stores, that maybe it's a drugstore, some might be a food store, some might be a gun shop, and so on and so forth. And obviously, you go in them places, you're going to find either a gun or some antibiotics or something like that. The kind of novelty of this game is you can play any map in the world, so you can actually play where you live, and it has a kind of accurate representation of where you actually live, which is a really neat thing because you can see what it would be like to survive a zombie apocalypse, which we know is coming, guys, in your own backyard, essentially. Now, you do that by looting houses, recruiting more people, going on missions, and building up a little kind of base. You can put a perimeter wall around. I never got that far yet. I'll explain why in a second. You put up defensive towers. You build antennas so you can contact other groups, rendezvous with them, get new survivors coming in, and basically following on the story in this big kind of sandbox open world.
Building clear. On my way. Ready for action.
And it is very, very fun. I really do like this game. However, in its current state, which is pre-alpha, you can only get it through the Kickstarter campaign, I believe, at the minute. I was lucky the developer kind of got in touch with us and says, would you like a key to cover this? And I said, yeah, looks decent. So that's how I got in. But at this moment in time, it is, well, I found it unplayable because every game bar one, and I've started 5 different games. Every game bar one, I've been screwed by bugs. Basically, the same bug, pathfinding. You'll get a squad and they will just get stuck in the terrain, usually in a building. They can't get out of the building. The zombie hordes come. They only come out at night. Great song that. They come out at night and I can't get my guys out of the building and they just get wrecked. And it's so fucking frustrating because you might be doing... One of the games I got off to a fantastic start. I found machine guns, loads of pistols, loads of ammo, loads of food. And that was just on day 1. And I was doing excellent. And then the game just crashed. It froze. Totally froze. And I had to start again. That's the only crash that I've had. The next game I kind of did well again, but then the key squad got stuck in a house. Another bug that I've come across is you put them in vehicles, which allows them to travel a long distance quite quickly. And they kind of don't go in the car. The car goes by itself and they're running after the car. Crazy. But it's pre-alpha. I'm not going to judge the game at all on bugs because why would you judge a game that's in pre-alpha on its bugs? They haven't even decided on the whole content of the game yet, and so they're miles away from pushing all the different bugs in the game. It's just kind of like a taster of what the game's going to be, and I really do like the taste of this game. It's my kind of little immersive strategy game. If they can nail the pathfinding on all the random maps that could ever be around the world, they can add a bit more content to the game in the sense of your base building, which I felt was a little bit skimpy at the moment. And if they can balance it a bit better, I found it a little bit unbalanced. But that might be because I kept losing squads to bugs, essentially. The bugs are worse than the zombies in this game at the minute. But all in all, I was mightily impressed with what I've actually played. When it works, it's good. But it doesn't work very well at the minute. So that's the take that I've got from this. Now, you can jump into the Kickstarter and you can get this is the latest build that I'm actually using. You can get that, but as I say, I found it unplayable. My advice is I would just hang on. Let's see where this is going. Let's see some more bugs getting squished. Once it hits early access, I'm definitely revisiting this straight away to see how it's progressed from where it is now. I've got a good benchmark for where it is now. I'll see where it comes to in early access. See if we can get a lot of these bugs out of the way. There is a kind of stable map that is the recommended map for this, which I got a lot further in the game than I did when I chose just random cities around the world. But even then, I was still getting squads stuck and stuff like that. But it's a great concept. It has great potential. So there you go, Infected Free Zone, guys. Definitely one to watch.